Welcome back, guys.
So, Guardians of the Galaxy. What'd you think of it, Josh?
Villain was good. He was black.
See, I would disagree. I'd say nothing against the actor. He did a fantastic job, but I think he was one of the weakest villains of history.
Whoa.
Yeah. And not in terms of motivation. He was physically weak. The final battle scene between all the Guardians and him took about 0.5 seconds, which I thought was pretty dumb. He didn't even have a chance against them. It didn't really feel like a fight. Pretty weak villain. Like, the entire climax was not even really involving him. It was just kind of involving escaping the destroying ship.
It was weird, the ending fight scene. However, it was very satisfying because they kicked his butt because he was a big old meanie. And you want to know what else, Sam?
Uh-huh.
This was a great movie, but the thing it was lackluster in compared to the first Guardians of the Galaxy was that there was really only one iconic song. There was another iconic song, but it was a repeat from the first one. The only song that stood out was No Sleep Till Brooklyn. While in the first one, you'd hear a song, you'd be like, oh, I remember that song. Oh, these are all classics, and you've heard all of them before. But then in this one, there was only one song, and that made you go, No Sleep Till! So a little bit of a
Brooklyn.
little lackluster in the song choice. Thank you. Now you make a point.
I thought the music was the weakest part of the movie, actually, despite the villain. It wasn't as iconic. I mean, there are a lot of 80s songs that they didn't use that they could have, you know? There's a lot of songs still out there. One of the biggest missed opportunities was they didn't play the iconic Guardians of the Galaxy theme at the end. I don't remember if you remember. It's like, ba, 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 da, da, da. Okay, it's so good, and they didn't even use it. What the heck? When they defeated the almighty purple dude, they didn't even use the music. They just used, like, generic action music. It was so lame.
I think you actually got a point there, and I think the new Spider-Man did it one better there, because if you remember in one of the ending scenes, they brought back the OG, like, 60s theme song.
Yeah.
Spider-Man does whatever the frick a spider-frick can. So in this movie, we get introduced to this new, like, straight out of heaven technology where you strap a little ice pack to someone's arm, and it literally fixed Mantis's broken arm, just boop, like that, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't work on Rocket, because they're trying to save Rocket the whole movie because he's got this kill switch, right?
Yeah.
All this advanced technology, and you want to know what saves Rocket?
What?
CPR. I've been trained in CPR, and it is 20% effective.
Which doesn't help internal bleeding, I might add. If anything, it'll probably make it worse. And somehow, he's brought back to life, and after like 5 seconds, he's just fine. He gets right back up, and they're right back into fighting.
Imagine you twist your ankle, someone starts giving you CPR.
Yes.
Sam watched the film theory video and thought Drax was gonna die, and he was wrong.
Marvel has already told us who is gonna die at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
The color on the title's blue. Drax is gonna die.
I thought someone was going to die, but spoiler alert, no one did. And that's another thing I didn't appreciate with this movie. I do not like fake out deaths, okay? With Rocket, the moment he said, "Can I go with you guys?" when he was like in the afterlife, I was just sitting there like, he's obviously not dead. I mean, he's Rocket. He can't die. Why would he die? He's cute.
Therefore, I have value.
Right? I did think Chris Pratt was gonna die, but obviously because we saw him die, they took his like fake out death way too far, I feel like.
It's called Deus Ex Machina, getting saved at the last second. It is the single most overused storytelling mechanism in the history of humanity.
Especially with Marvel lately.
Okay, that is the last time you are gonna pull that crap. You hear me?
Yes!
Do you hear me?
Yes!
There was one other little funny thing, which I absolutely hate in stories, is when someone gets their mojo back by following their heart, and the guy with bad teeth, he was like struggling with the whistle the whole movie, and then Yondu just appears in a vision and is like,
Believe. I know that sounds like a cat poster, but it's true.
he's like friggin' Obi-Wan Kenobi appearing to Luke
Yeah.
from the Force. He's like,
But
Follow your heart, teeth guy.
and the teeth guy goes, kills everyone. We finna talk about good things then? I got some good things.
yeah, let's get into the good things.
The key tenet of a story is change over time. If your characters are the same at the beginning as they were at the end, they're not good characters. And Gamora grew up because she realized the reason old Gamora fell in love with Peter Quill, not because he was particularly handsome, even though he is, but because he was super brave regardless of his quirky silliness, right?
Yeah.
Nebula, she learned to love as we see her getting incredibly emotionally torn up over the people in her Guardian of the Galaxy. Rocket Raccoon learned that his life wasn't meaningless just because his friends died in his early life. Groot went through a big change in his character for the first time, or second time in his life. As far as we know, he said something other than "I am Groot." He said, "I love you guys," and the first time was in the first movie when he said, "We are Groot." Peter Quill grew tremendously and learned that his value was not in his girlfriend. He thought that all that mattered and all that brought him purpose was whether or not he was with Gamora. Adam Warlock as a character was so incredibly well done because it was impossible to predict the direction that they were going to take with Adam Warlock. You first see him come in and you think he's going to be the antagonist, and then his mom gets skadoosh. And you think he's going to join the good guys, but he doesn't immediately. A great addition on this side. Totally unpredictable, incredible character, incredible addition.
I agree. A lot of people online have been expressing disdain for
Idiots.
for the way they
Those are the same people saying Mr. Beast should stop helping people see and hear.
No, the way because they're mad is in the comics Adam Warlock is like powerful enough to defeat Thanos, I think. But I don't think they realize, or they just saw that he was dumb and didn't really listen to anything else. They kind of just tuned him out. But I don't think he realized he was born yesterday. That was a plot point. He's dumb
really?
because he was literally born like a few days before he went after them. That's why he's so
didn't
dumb.
realize that.
He doesn't realize how powerful he is. That's why he's so dumb. That's why he's like, "Mother, can I have help, please?" He's a baby. That's why.
He's an actual idiot.
Right? That's why he's a huge idiot throughout the whole movie. I highly doubt they're gonna keep him being an idiot throughout the MCU. I highly expect him to return as a character. I don't think he's gonna stay that stupid. But I thought him as like a literal baby in the movie was comedy gold. I think the actor portraying him, Mr. Eyebrows, he was perfect.
You guys are getting paid?
You guys are getting paid. I was sold on his character in that first scene when he showed up and the dude shot the arrow at him and he's like, "Who threw that at me? Baby." I'm just like, I love this guy.
Baby.
I mean, he can kill everyone in this movie and I'm still gonna love him. He was just a great character.
I think a hard thing for book fans and comic book fans to get their head around is that you can't have a one-to-one recreation of a character from book or comic into movie.
Sometimes it just
Changes
doesn't
actually
play.
need to be made.
Yeah.
It doesn't play. And the hardest thing for me when I was younger, I was totally upset they didn't put Tom Bombadil in the Fellowship of the Ring.
Mm-hmm.
But looking back, if you had put Tom Bombadil in the Fellowship of the Ring, it would have been a 6-hour first movie and it would have required so much explanation that it just wouldn't fit. So something can exist well on paper, but not well on the screen. And sometimes you need to make that discretion.
Yeah, you'd be sitting in the theater watching a guy sing, "I'm Tom Bombadil," for like 6 hours. What'd you think of, because I'm sure the Karens are gonna want people to discuss this, what'd you think about the first F-bomb in the MCU?
Now what? Open the door.
Don't care. If I did care, I mean, I think if it's put out there because it's I guess it's the first time it's happened in a Marvel movie. As long as they disclose that, so parents knew going in, then who really cares? It kind of just shows how language is becoming more and more acceptable in our culture, which can be a good or bad thing. Language is arbitrary, but also it's the degeneracy of our youth. And if there was any movie to put it in other than Deadpool, it would have had to have been Guardians of the Galaxy.
Overall score of the movie, 1 out of 10, what'd you give it?
I mean, it depends on the scale. If we're going all-time movies, I wouldn't put this higher than a 7. If we go Marvel movies alone, it's at least a 9. And if it's like, yes or no, you should watch this, then 10. 100% it's worth the money.
Yeah, I'd encourage people to go watch it. I thought it was one of the best MCU movies in years, obviously. So I would encourage you to go watch it. It's actually really good. When comparing it to like older MCU movies, it's probably like an 8.5. But like newer MCU movies, 10 out of 10. This is like
For sure.
night and day to like She-Hulk.
The only thing that contends with it after Endgame is Spider-Man. Nothing else is even close. I like how Mr. Beast ends his videos and there's no outro. Like, who the frick watches an outro? It's just like, bye guys, subscribe to my Patreon, check out merch. I'm a greedy little money whore. You know, it's just like, frick off, watch the next video.